motivation high for my top 10. Gotta learn from the wise women and men. All my life, like na 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 na. For my top 10, top 10, na 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 na. This one's for my top 10.
Hey, it's Nina Carmichael, and we make these videos because you're probably the most ambitious person in your circle. But you know if you're capable of more, and you get that push by surrounding yourself with the best. So today, let's learn from one of the best, my husband Evan Carmichael, his top 10 rules for success. Okay, let's kick it off with rule number 1. Find your core value.
When you understand what your single most important core value is, everything else becomes so much easier. So for me, it's belief. Right? Belief is my single most important core value. How does that help? Well, with every decision that I make, it's seen through the lens of belief. Every video content that I make is about belief. It has to be. Every interaction I have, every workshop, every book, every meeting, all of it has to be run through the belief framework, right? The glasses of belief. If I'm hiring somebody onto my team, skills alone aren't enough. It's great that you can write copy. Do you believe in entrepreneurs? It's a big difference. So when you understand your core value, everything else becomes clearer and you're less likely to follow what other people want you to do. Everybody around you, they have a goal for you, even if it's well-intentioned. They have opinions on what you should do with your life. Everybody around you. This is what you should do with your life. Everybody has an opinion. You don't know which way to go. If you don't know which way to go, it's because you don't know what you stand for, because you're standing on quicksand. But when you understand your one word, your who, your most important core value, it's like you're standing on a rock that nobody can push you from. So how do you figure that out quickly, right? I mean, this is 200 something pages. Let's boil it down super quick for you. You want to think about all the people that you love. Your favorite teacher, what you loved about your parents. Think about your favorite musician, your favorite band, your favorite song, your favorite movie, your favorite book, all your favorite things. The thing that when you are around, consuming it, reading it, being with them, it makes you feel bold, alive, amazing, confident, unstoppable, right? We've all had those moments. It's just not consistent enough yet. We're gonna make it for you. It's just not consistent enough yet. And so write down a list of 5 to 10 things that make you come alive. Again, people, your favorite teacher, movies, all of those things that make you, that you love, like you could get lost spending time with them or reading them or listening to them. Then write down 3 keywords that describe each of them. So your favorite teacher, why did you love Mr. Jones? It's not because he taught you grade 4 math, right? There was something else about Mr. Jones that you love. Why do I love Seabiscuit, the movie? Because it's about an oversized jockey and an undersized horse and an owner that has no money and all of these things, and they all come together. It's belief, right? My parents taught me that I'm Evan Carmichael and I can do anything that I believe that I can, right? And so through all the things that I love, believe is the common thread. What is it for you? You have to figure it out. You have to figure it out. It doesn't have to take you years of work. Just write down all of the people and the things that you love, 3 keywords for each. Like, do this. This is important. Just do it today. It'll make a huge difference in your life. It's worth it. This is the best 15 minutes you can spend in your life. Do it. Pause the video and do it. And then just see what comes up consistently. What word comes up over and over and over and over and over and over again? Chances are that's your one word. That's your who. Then when you discover it, you have to start living that life.
Rule number 2, trust your ideas.
The reason most people don't win isn't because you don't have great ideas. You're a genius. The only thing missing is momentum. You're dreaming huge. That's amazing. I love it. But there is 0 momentum. It's never going to be the right time and nobody is coming to save you. The time is now to make your dreams happen. So here's a really fun example. Yesterday, I needed to take a break from my work to go to the bathroom. So I go to the bathroom, open up my Feedly and start looking at, some of the news stories that were happening. And there was this amazing video that I saw about a busker in Toronto who a company organized what they called a cash mob instead of a flash mob, where they would all show up at this guy doing his guitar singing, playing, and just throw money at him. Not at him, but in the guitar case, right? And they probably made like $1,000. They were throwing 20s and 50s, not just pennies and dollar bills and stuff, but giving him tons of money. And he's starting to get overwhelmed. He's playing the guitar, he's getting overwhelmed, and I'm getting motivated and excited and just heartfelt. What a great moment. And I decide in that moment, we need to make this video more public. We need to spread it. This has to go up on the channel. I need to spread awareness. I want to promote this company who put this together. I love it. What a great idea. And so right away, like, here's the thing. You get a great idea. Trust your great ideas. Go do something about it. I could have easily filed that away. Next week I'll work on it, and then guess what's gonna happen next week? I'm not gonna work on it because I'm gonna move on to something else, right? I'm in the middle of my day. I've got priorities and a plan for that day. And then this thing pops up. I trust that idea, trust that it's great, and that I gotta do something about it. Because if I'm inspired, if you're inspired, you're gonna create gold. You're gonna create magic. If you're not inspired, then just keep doing the work that you're doing. Hopefully it's not depressing and negative. It's just you're creating. It's amazing. You're in your flow. But when something new comes up that you're super excited about, I think you need to follow that through. And so I parked a little chunk of my day yesterday to then make that video. And I made the ending, and I made the thumbnail, and I made the description, and I made the title, and I created it all in one shot, and I sent it off to my editor, Christina. We love you, Christina. To say, hey, we got to put this up on the channel. Find a time. This is not scheduled in my usual content calendar, but let's find a time and put it up, right? And that maybe took, I don't know, half an hour. It took half an hour out of my day that I was supposed to do other stuff to make that happen. Because momentum matters. Momentum matters. It's the most important thing. You're a genius. The ideas that you have are gold. They're genius. You're just not doing enough with it.
Rule number 3, explore.
Success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. What I took away most from that definition is the word progressive. You want progress. You want to learn. You want to keep growing. What was once a challenge for you is now simple. And it's very easy to fall into a routine that once served you, but is now limiting you. The day you stop progressing is the day that you start to hate your life. And it can be sneaky. It can sneak up on you without you even noticing what happened. So I was trying to think of a personal story to share with you about this, and I realized it's been more than 10 years since I've actually felt that. I felt that I've stopped progressing, that I started to hate what I was doing. It's been over 10 years. It was basically since I started on YouTube, and I'm going to share with you the hacks that I used so that you won't fall into that rut. But what happened for me 10 years ago was I built my website, right? I sold my business, I had success, I was speaking around the world. I started building my website. And I built it into a giant platform. We had 100,000 plus pages of content, making money from advertising. And I just stopped liking the business. It started to feel like we're putting out content, we're putting out articles, just trying to make money, putting out articles that I didn't always believe 100% in. We had a bunch of guest people writing content, right? We had 4,000 or 5,000 authors for the website, and not all of their opinions or views or mindset or voice reflected my own. And I just stopped liking the business. It was a successful business, making money, building a team. I had 8 people, I think, at that time. And I decided, you know what, this isn't, I'm losing the love for this. I need to try new things. And I started making YouTube videos. It was one experiment. I probably did a bunch of different things, but YouTube was one experiment that I sucked at, but I loved, and I kept coming back to. And it taught me a lesson. It taught me that you need to explore. This is what I tell a lot of people when they're entrepreneurs. I had a woman, Melissa, who joined me on an IG Live the other day, and she's talking about how she's got a real estate business that's making her money, but she wants to be a speaker. And the speaking business is growing. It can't support her fully yet, but the real estate business gives her a lot of money. She's like, well, I like doing both. It's like, well, no, you don't. Right? Like in 5 years, where do you want to be? Do you want to still be doing real estate? No. 5 years, I don't want to be doing that. I want to be doing the speaking thing. Like, great. That's where you need to start spending more of your time. It doesn't mean quit the job. It doesn't mean stop doing real estate or stop doing the thing that you're just okay with. But while you still have one foot in it, you have to explore, you have to try, you have to taste, you got to see what else you can do. Spend 1 day a week, 2 days a week, depending on your financial situation. This is my advice to her. Spend 1 day or 2 days a week focusing on the speaking business so that in 6 months you could be out of the real estate business and be in speaking full time. And then doing the thing that you love, right? If you just like it, that should be a warning sign to get out. Not ASAP, but you need to start exploring. But so many people end up hating the thing that they're doing. So many entrepreneurs start a business, they love it, it's challenging, it's exciting, it's exhilarating, and then they found that they bought themselves a job and they actually hate their business. And then it becomes too late to get out because you can't find the person to sell it to, or you just have to walk away from it. But so many people just like it, and you're not exploring enough to chase down the opportunity.
Rule number 4, have a mission.
You don't win a Nobel Prize by telling yourself that you want to win a Nobel Prize. You win a Nobel Prize by having a mission so big that it forces you to become somebody new. A stronger, more bold, more resilient version of you. If you make success your goal, you will most likely miss it because you have the wrong outcome in mind. Make impact your goal. Make your mission your goal, and you'll end up having more success than you ever thought possible. I look at my YouTube channel as an example, and the next goal would be to have 10 million subscribers, right? I got my 100,000 plaque. I got 3 of them there. I got my million plaque. The next goal is 10 million. And it's nothing wrong with having goals, but the problem is if I made 10 million the thing, like all I'm doing is chasing down 10 million subscribers, it forces you to do short-term decisions that end up not serving you, right? If I wanted to just blow up my channel, the best way to do it isn't actually to spread positive content. Negativity spreads much faster than positivity. If I made a top 10 video on why this person sucked, or an espresso about how this person's an idiot, or people fighting, people can't help but see that. That's why people stop to see the car accident on the highway, right? We don't reward the good drivers. You want to see the chaos. You want to see what caused the flame. There's a fight on a street corner. You stop to see what's going on, right? We're attracted to the negativity more than the positivity. That's a faster way to blow up my channel. The problem is, I wouldn't feel good about it. I don't want to spread negativity. I don't want to spread conflict and chaos. I don't want to spread pessimism. I don't want to spread despair. I don't want to spread ego. I don't want to spread negativity. I don't want to do that. And so it would lead to me flaming out before I ever hit the goal. That's the problem. You can have this goal. This is what most people do. You have some goal. Here's my goal. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get to that goal. The problem is you won't do whatever it takes because it's going to get too hard. You can only do things for so long that you don't love before you quit and give up. And so there's nothing wrong with having a goal, but more important than the goal is the mission. I want to solve the world's biggest problem. It's something that's never going to happen. Never. In my lifetime, it's never going to happen. I want people to believe in themselves more. It's never going to hit that ultimate goal where everybody is Michael Jordan at something. It will never happen. And I wake up every day trying to do that. And so if you make a goal tied to some outcome, like getting 10 million subscribers on YouTube, it's going to force you down a path that likely won't serve you. So you lead with the mission. You lead with the impact, and success will follow.
If you want to have more confidence and motivation, check out our 254 series. The link is in the description below.
Find whatever the smallest first step is, and then the smallest next step is, and continue to build those steps. And when you look back, you'll have realized that you made some pretty significant progress. It's just not the number one thing. It's number 2 or 3. There has to be something more important than money for you to have success, ultimate success as an entrepreneur.
The reason to use a publisher is, one, to get a little bit more credibility. If you're just getting started, people may not know you. There's still a little bit of a cachet around having a book with a major publisher.
Rule number 5, raise your standards.
The difference in people is their standards. The world is full of people who started with less than what you already have right now, and they're winning. And too many people are out there complaining. Complaining that you don't have the money, that you don't have the time, that you don't have the experience, that you don't have the personality for it. All legitimate, logical reasons. But others have done it with those very same circumstances as you, with worse circumstances than you. The difference is they have a higher standard for themselves. And today, we're gonna raise yours. One of the things I'm most proud about for myself, why do I love Evan Carmichael, is because when I say I'm gonna do something, I do it, especially when it gets hard. Like, it doesn't count until it gets hard. And I'm doing it not just for other people. I'm doing it not just because I promised you that I would show up. I'm doing it for myself because I said I was going to do something and then I go off and do it. This is the foundation of self-esteem, of self-confidence, of self-love, doing it when you say you're gonna do it. And so on Monday, I usually have a 2-hour walking meeting with Alex. Alex helps me run Toronto Dance Salsa. He comes over. Monday's my mentoring day, and we'll usually go for a 2-hour walk around the city. And it's starting to get cold. You know, it's winter time here. It's getting cold, and so we bundle up and we go for our 2-hour walk while we talk and while we meet. I'm trying to do walking meetings more, just for my own health and just for the challenge of it, because it's easy to start something like that in the spring or in the summer. It's really hard to do it when it's in the winter and you live in Toronto, Canada, and it's snowing and cold, right? So this Monday, Alex was sick. He still came in, he was sick, he was running a bit of a fever, not crazy sick, but just sick. And Nina, my wife, super caring, said, hey, maybe you shouldn't go for a walk outside. And my heart just like, come on, no, we have to. I said I was gonna do it, right? I have to, for myself, I have to go on the walk. Like, I'll go on the walk and leave Alex at my place and and just film the meeting with him. But we came up with a different solution, which was, I live in a condo, we have a gym in my condo, and we went down to the condo gym and I walked on the treadmill while he stood or sat next to me for 2 hours. Because I said that I was gonna do it. How important is that 1-2 hour walk? Not much, right? In itself, not much. Am I gonna get healthy from doing that one walk? No. Am I gonna lose weight by doing that one walk? No. I'm gonna have so much more mental clarity by doing that one walk? Of course not. But it's the whole game, because you're teaching yourself that you follow through. You're teaching yourself that you have high standards. You're teaching yourself that when you say you're gonna do something, you follow through, because life is coming for you with a ton of roadblocks. Life is going to throw tons of curveballs at you. If you can only do the thing that you said you were going to do when it's easy and the path is perfectly clear, you're never going to do it. This is why people don't stay consistent, because as soon as life gets hard, you let yourself off the hook. You allow your standards to drop, to say, oh, it's okay. Yeah, of course I can't go for a walk because Alex is sick. Right? And there are definitely legitimate times when you should let yourself off the hook. If I was dying in bed with a fever and I couldn't get out of bed, I wouldn't go for the walk. That makes sense. Don't be stupid. There's times when you need to be gentle on yourself. But more often than not, we are too gentle on ourselves when we shouldn't be. I could have done the walk, and we did it. We did it in the gym downstairs, and Alex stood next to me and sat next to me and didn't have to go outside and get the cold on him, and I still got my walk in, right? And I feel great about it. Because I did it when it was hard, because here's this obstacle that life's throwing at me. Here's an easy way when everybody around me is saying, you don't have to go off and do it. And a little tiny voice inside my own head saying, okay, well, here's a chance. You don't have to do it. Like, no, be quiet, voice. I'm doing it. We're finding a solution. Let's go. And the solution is gonna walk on the treadmill downstairs.
Rule number 6, be more productive.
What matters is that you're productive, that you get results, that you stop wasting time. Too many people default to thinking that if they just wake up an hour earlier, they're going to be way more productive. If you're not productive in a 16-hour day, what makes you think that you're going to be more productive in a 17-hour day when you have less sleep? So this is a interesting message and timing for me right now, because I love beating the sun up. I love it. I love working. Like, it's my default state. If Nina is off on a Friday night with her friends or something, 80% chance I'm working. I love it. I look forward to it. When I go close my eyes, I can't wait for it to be the next day. Like, I'm pumped to go off and do the work. I recently did a sleep study, and my doctor was concerned I wasn't getting enough quality sleep. So I went to go do a sleep study, and the doctor, after going through the results, told me that I need to be sleeping 8.5 hours to 9 hours a night. And it like super disappointed me. 8.5 hours to 9 hours? Are you kidding me? I was trying to go from 8 to 7. I was waking up after 8 hours sleep and feeling still a little bit tired. And so that's why my doctor recommended even going to the sleep study. And I'm trying to figure out, how do I hack it to get down to 7 and still be fully functional, not be, lazy and slow and not having my cognition. And yeah, he said I need to be sleeping 8.5 to 9 hours a night. And he said, is that normal? Like, are you not worried? He's like, no, as long as you're under 10, it's normal. People range from 6 to 10 and they're totally fine. Like, this sucks. I mean, I'm not happy about it. I'm still looking at how can I hack my sleep more, and we've tried a lot. I have the chili pad. We've got, meditation before sleeping. I'm lying on the bed of nails with the thing behind me, the pillow, the nail pillow. No, phones or computers X amount of time before going to bed. Red light filters on everything. Red lights, no lights at all in the place, right? Like, just these real red lights glowing around after sunset. Lots of it. Cool down the temperature. I don't know, all of it. Don't eat past 8 o'clock. No caffeine past 2 o'clock. All of it. I'm doing all of that stuff. All of it, right? Plus probably a lot more stuff. I've studied and hacked away. I still believe there's a lot more hacking. I still want to get it from 9 to 7. But if I'm at 9 and I need 9, I think you should get 9. I'm at the point now where if I wake up and the sun is still not up, I stay in bed. And that's actually boosting of confidence. It's like, okay, so I wake up and sun hasn't come up yet. Okay, this is hard. This is difficult. It's difficult for me to not get out of bed. I'm gonna stay in bed just because. Now I'm a weird duck. So maybe this works for you, maybe it doesn't. But I was having a great conversation with Jeremy, who's on my team, who I've invested in his business. He's helping companies scale their YouTube channels. And he was going through the same thing where he was feeling a little tired in the afternoon. He wanted to nap on some afternoons, and that's never been me. So dude, you just try waking up without an alarm. And normally he's up at 4:30 in the morning or something. So just wake up without an alarm and see how it goes. And he ended up sleeping for 9 hours and hating himself for doing it. It's like, dude, maybe you need 9 hours. Like, much more important than that extra hour or two is what are you doing during the day? If you're losing energy during the day and you want to nap every afternoon, you're not being productive. Like, there's no way. Sleep and be productive. You need sleep to win. I think everybody should get a sleep test. I think it's a brutal experience. You barely sleep, right? When you're there, you got stuff up your nose and a million sensors all over you. But to know how much sleep you actually need, and making sure that you're productive during the time that you are awake. That's the most important thing. That you are productive during the time that you are awake is way more important than if you wake up before the sun gets up.
Rule number 7, get used to rejections.
If you are doing something new, you are going to get rejected. If you're doing something that you're not good at yet, you are going to get rejected. If you're doing something that goes against the status quo, you are going to get rejected. So you have two choices. Live a life with zero growth and never get rejected, or chase your dream, deal with the rejection that comes, and go change the world. I have rejection all the time in my life, from little rejections of making videos that don't pop to bigger rejections of projects that I care deeply about that just don't fly and people don't accept at the beginning. I look at this, Built to Serve. This is a great example. Built to Serve is my new book. This book I'm insanely proud of. I think it's life-changing. I mean, it should be. I think the work that you create should be life-changing, but I poured so much into this and I think people need to read it. Like, I desperately think that this book will change a lot of people's lives. It could change your life. I believe it's not just hyperbole. Like, I truly, fundamentally believe it. When I came up with the idea, I was on my tour earlier this year and I did not have time to write it, right? I was on my tour, I'm behind on everything, a million things being thrown at me, meeting people, doing my events, seeing the cities, and I just decided I have to write this book because of all the feedback I was getting from people. It was all the one-on-ones I was doing with people. The same questions kept coming up. How do I find my purpose? How do I know who I am? How do I turn into a business? And so that's the point of the book. Figuring out what your purpose is and how to use that to then serve the world, right? It's called Built to Serve. And make it into a business so you can make money doing it and build a team and go off and live your mission. When I first pitched my publisher on it, they didn't want it. They didn't want my book, right? So Your One Word is down here. That's with Penguin Random House, and Penguin passed. So they had my first deal with Penguin Random House. Typically how they'll do deals, especially with first-time authors, is you get a deal and then they have the right of first refusal on your next book. So as soon as I get my next book, they get the right to look at it first before I give it to anybody else, right? So that's why I signed. So like, okay, here we go. Let's go. It's a perfect fit. I mean, it follows really nicely with Your One Word. Let's go, right? And they said, no, we're gonna pass. I'm like, yeah, what? How do you pass? This is better than Your One Word. I mean, I love Your One Word. It's great. But this is the whole thing. How do you pass on this? It's just. And we had to wait because it's 30 days and all these, anyway, legal stuff. So then we started looking at other companies. We started looking at other publishing houses. And there were other ones that seemed to line up really well with the content that they had, the author lineup that they had. And almost everybody except the last one, right, said no. And I mean, like, I got a big YouTube channel. We have momentum. We already have our first book. We're like, why? And all sorts of different reasons, you know, just not doing personal development books anymore, not whatever. Nobody came out and said like, we hate you, Evan. So maybe, hopefully that's not the reason. And then we found one that picked it up. It's like, okay, let's go. And if that one didn't pick it up, then we would have kept looking for more publishers, or I would have just made it myself, just self-publish it, put it out, right? What do you do when the people around you don't accept what you have, when you want to take something in a new direction? I could have done something else. I could have done something easier. If I just did a book about Jack Ma, right, and his rules for success, that would be easier to pick up than this, which I talk about on the channel, but it's not the main thesis of the channel. But that's what I want to make, and that's what I'm going to make. Whether it's I get a publisher or we're gonna, create it myself, it's gonna be birthed into existence because I decided so. And just taking that mindset and approach, you have to. If you love the thing, if you're doing something different, then you have to keep going when people say that I don't want to pick it up, that it sucks, that it's stupid, that maybe it's even a great idea, but you're not the person who's gonna do it, right? You have to keep going.
And rule number 8, be your biggest fan and critic.
I think judging yourself is actually great. I think you need it. I think it's healthy. I think people should be harder on themselves. The problem is people can't handle being even a little bit harder on themselves because they're already at the point of being depressed or even suicidal. The secret starts with self-love. Your self-love has to equal your self-criticism. You have to be your biggest fan as well as your biggest critic. The root problem isn't judging yourself, it's not loving yourself. One of the challenges I think of being human is we are social animals. We're social creatures. We rely on each other. We need each other. We want to belong. We want to be part of tribes. We want to do things together, right? We want to be around other people. So that makes us want to fit in. And that makes us play small, worry about what people think about us, because if we don't do the thing that they want us to do, they might judge us and kick us out of the tribe. The good news is there's so many different tribes you can do now, right? There's so many different people that it may not be your friends that you have right now. It may not be your parents or your family or your community right now. But whatever you want to do, there is a group of people who believe the same things you believe, who think the same way you think. And I think one of the healthiest things that you can do is whenever you feel the eyes of potential judgment for something that you want to do, you have to go off and do it just to show yourself.
Rule number 9, kick yourself forward.
Comparison to other people, I think, is actually a good thing. I think you need it. I think it helps you. I think it serves you. The problem is most people look at other people, start feeling insecure, and then kick themselves down. The key is to kick yourself forward, not down. But you need that kick. Otherwise, you stay where you are. This is one of the reasons why I love Model Success, why I created all my YouTube channels and all the content that I've done and have the people behind me on the wall, because I love looking at other people. I love learning from other people. I love seeing somebody do amazing things and say, that's what's possible. This is what's possible. I look at Les Brown as an example, and I think he's the greatest speaker of all time, at least that I've seen. Maybe the ancient Greeks were better, I don't know, but Les Brown, modern era, on video, I think is the greatest speaker. And I look at that and say, that's what's possible. Not that I can't do that. Here's what most people do. They look at Les Brown and say, well, I can't do that. And then they start feeling insecure, and I'm just an imposter trying to be like that now. And then they quit. And then they feel low self-esteem and they beat themselves up over it because they're not Les Brown. I look at Les Brown and say, that's what's possible. This is what humans can actually accomplish and achieve. I want some of that. I want to get better. I want to drive and improve, not to be the next Les Brown, but to be the best me. But this is what's possible. I look at David Goggins. Man, David Goggins. Look, he came out of nowhere. Who was David Goggins? Did you guys know David Goggins 5 years ago? No. He blew up out of nowhere because of the passion and intensity and truth of his message, right? I love that. And it's easy to say and look at that and say, well, look at how passionate David Goggins is and look how he blew up. I can never do that. I'm not as strong as him. I'm not as crazy as him. I don't have the same mindset as him, and so I can't do that. And you compare yourself to Goggins, and then you say, well, I can't, and so you don't start. That's the problem. You should look at Goggins and say, look at what's possible. You could come from nowhere, nobody knowing who you are, and in a short amount of time, blow up. Because you have a message that matters. You can look at how passionate he is about his message. Every video, he's got insane passion, right? This guy, he's not going to give you nice hugs and compliments, but he cares about his message, right? You can see that. And you can take that as what's possible. You can care deeply about your message too and model David Goggins and apply that to make your message stronger and better. I think if you just were competing with yourself, I think you're actually going to suck. I think if you're the best at something and you don't have any competition, I think you actually suck. Being the big fish in a small pond actually limits a lot of creativity, limits your ability to go off and crush things. I think it is. I think when you even in animals, when you see animals going up against each other in a race, when somebody's close, you work a little bit harder. Right? I think we need that in our ecosystem. The key though, again, is to make sure you're kicking yourself forward, to say this is what is possible. Not this person's so much better than me, I suck, feeling insecure, feeling depressed. You need the kick. Just make sure you're kicking yourself forward, not down.
And rule number 10, take accountability.
It may not be your fault, but it's your responsibility. It's not your fault that you were born broke, but it's your responsibility to fix it. It's not your fault that you had no education, but it's your responsibility to learn it. It's not your fault that you had no connections, but it's your responsibility to make them. It may not be your fault, but it's your responsibility. And the sooner you accept that, the sooner you're gonna win. So I recently posted to my YouTube community tab a quote about momentum. I think people don't have momentum, and I think the path to get momentum is to do work for free for ideal clients until you can prove your value and then they pay you. So here's what I wrote. I wrote, if you have no momentum, no traction, no clients, and start for free, prove your worth and build momentum. Give them something they can't wait to have again and pay for this time, #believe. And every time I write, there's always tons of great positive feedback. But this time, somebody wrote a kind of negative comment, and so I wanted to read it because it's highly applicable in this video. He said, Kitch, I don't know about some of your advice. Everything is my fault and work for free. To which I reply, yes, when you embrace those two, you'll start crushing your goals. It's a hard message to take on, right? Whether everything is your fault, everything is your responsibility, where you are right now, it's not about beating yourself up. It's not about saying, I suck and I can't get out. It's saying, listen, this is what happened to me. That's the past. The past doesn't have to equal to the future. Everything that I was born into and the circumstances that I grew up with, they don't have to be where I go going forward. Look at all your heroes. Look at the people who've made huge inroads, changed the world, the people that you look up to and aspire to be like. Very few of them were born super wealthy. Most of them had a worse upbringing than you did, and they could make it, so why can't you? You're just locked in your story. Too many people are locked into their story. They're not taking responsibility. They're not saying, this is my problem to get out of. I wasn't put here, right? You've been drafted into a war that you did not start. You were put here. And you have to survive. And then you have to learn to thrive. And it's that decision that you are in charge, that you're responsible, that if you go to the mirror and you say, why am I not achieving my goals? Why am I not further ahead? As long as you're blaming somebody else, that might keep you comfortable. Keeps you comfortable. It means you don't have to do anything, right? You're not winning because your mom hit you. You're not winning because your dad never supported you, right? You're not winning because the school system sucks. As long as it's somebody else to blame, it's comforting. And everybody else around us are doing the same thing. Nobody's taking accountability. Everybody's saying it's somebody else's fault, right? Of course. It's not your fault that you're losing, because then you have to do something about it. And even if you're not losing, you're not hitting the goals as hard as you should. And it's so much easier to put the blame on somebody else and say, well, it's that person's fault. Where really, it's the person in the mirror. It's you. It's me. I am not further ahead in my business, on my YouTube channel, not because of the YouTube algorithm, not because my team didn't deliver the right video on time. Me. I'm the problem. It's my fault. It's my responsibility, right? I have to go fix it. I created this mess. It's not a mess, it's amazing, but I'm not at 10 million subscribers because of me. It's not that people don't want to watch the content and people don't want to be inspired. It's me. I need to get better. I need to improve. And even if it wasn't my fault, just taking that on gives you hope that you can change it. And as soon as you start putting, not even the blame. I think blame is not, I don't think blame helps. I don't care who to blame. I care how do we fix it, right? If there's a problem that happens in my business, it's not like who screwed up. I don't care who screwed up. I care what are we gonna do to make sure that we can get out of this hole and that it doesn't happen again the next time, right? Taking personal accountability for where you're at. If you have not hit your goals, there's good news. You can, but nobody's coming to save you. Nothing's gonna magically change around you. You're the change. You will make the change. You can go make it happen. If I want to grow my business bigger, I need to accept that I need to grow bigger. Me, personally, Evan Carmichael. It is my fault. It is my responsibility. I am to blame. And use that as a kick forward to say, great. Like at the beginning, it may suck. Say, oh man, I've wasted how many, weeks, months, years going down the wrong path, just casting blame on other people, realizing now it's my fault. Okay, well, what can you do about it? Now you can change it. Like at the start, the realization sucks, but then it's also the greatest thing of all time. If you're coming from under the rock and realize, oh my God, this is all my fault, that gives you the power to fix it. Because as long as you're relying on somebody else to do something and they don't show up, you can constantly blame them, but you're never growing, you're never accomplishing anything because you're waiting for them. You don't have to wait for anybody. It's just you. and you can fix it. You have the strength, you have the power, you're Michael Jordan, you have the abilities, you have the skill set, and if you don't have it yet, you can develop it, you can acquire it, because your heroes did it, and you can too.
Now I've got a very special bonus clip on make a mindset shift that I think you're gonna enjoy. But before that, it's time for the question of the day. What is the number one goal that you need to chase down this week? And if you made it this far and still watching, and you promise to take action after watching, we don't just watch video, we do something. I want to celebrate you. Give me a hashtag believe in the comment below.
Whatever you want to learn, you can learn. Public speaking, selling, being a YouTuber, anything. If you want to learn it, there is nothing stopping you except your story. Because you tell yourself that you're too young, that you're too old, it's too late, you're too broke, you don't have the resources, you don't have the connections, you don't have the education, you don't have the right family. There's always a story. You have not learned the skills that you want and need because you've told yourself that you can't. And that's the mindset shift that needs to change now. So I recently made a rap video on my channel. There was a Chinese song that I became obsessed with for some reason. I was looking up Chinese music for my wife. I found this one song, I loved it. It got stuck in my head. And then for whatever reason, I'm lying in bed. We go to bed at around 10:30, 11, and lyrics just start popping to my head. I don't understand what the Chinese song's about, but lyrics start popping to my head about a rap. So as they come in, I start writing it down. I try to go back to sleep. More lyrics come, I write it down, go back to sleep. I send myself emails because that's how I get it out of my system. It gets to 3 something in the morning, 3:30, close to that. And like, you know what? I'm still getting these ideas. I'm just gonna get up and do it. I'm gonna get up and rap. I'm gonna make this rap video. I'm gonna finish off the lyrics and then I'm gonna spend my day making a rap video. It's not how I wanted to plan my day. It was not on my calendar. I was supposed to be sleeping, but I'm gonna wake up and do this rap. We put it all together, did a whole bunch of takes, sent it to Christina to help me edit it, and then the next day, boom, final version was up on the main channel. Now,